This is the Audi RS5. The Audi RS5 is already a very capable car. But this guy, he must have just got aboard of that and he's fitted two great big turbos. So we are going to tune that up today. We're going to be live tuning it and we're going to be seeing what we can get out of this car on its current hardware. So let's go. So this is an MG1 ECUs. It's one of the newest ECUs out on this platform. Now today we're not going to be tuning it the conventional way where we'll flash, log, flash, log. What we're going to be doing is live tuning it where we can flash, log all at the same time and make adjustments on the fly. Now this is a lot faster way of tuning something this size, so let's get into that and I'll show you what that's all about. So we're going to take this now to Fabian to go over it, smoke test it, make sure everything's okay because we haven't fitted this kit, so we want to make sure that it's all okay before we hit the dyno and start live tuning this car.
A bit too fancy.
Yeah, fancy pants.
Fancy. Probably just pop that fucking out. It's not actually in.
So here we have Fabian getting the smoke machine ready for the smoke test, and straight away you can see it coming out of one of the intake pipes.
Oh.
What's this? It's definitely coming out of this metal bit which goes in.
I've got my turbo in it.
Yeah, it's only a T30 holding it in, so that's alright. I presume it's just a vacuum pipe, yeah, it's just a PCB. It's hot. I can't tell if it's coming out lower or not.
It's down there, isn't it?
This is just a hell.
It's not down there.
Defo leaking. See what it looks like it's coming out where that T30 goes in, but then it looks a bit lower. Yeah, it's hot in it.
How's it so hot? How's it? It's quite a bottom of the river, isn't it?
It looks like it's coming out the flange.
That's how it's coming out there. Yeah, the flange of that.
The metal flange, isn't it?
It's a bit in between.
Like, actually. Might be worth me taking it out.
Here's Matt come to collect some of the bits for his project. No clue what he's on about, usual.
Mud.
The fuck are you chanting, mate?
What's up with this?
It's leaky smoke test. The first fix.
Here's a time lapse of Fabian sorting this leak out. He's having to crack these bits out, which took longer than we'd wanted, but eventually we found out why it was leaking. It turned out to be one of the rubber seals had been split when it was fitted.
This is the reason it was leaking. The O-ring is missing a chunk. So I'm gonna go find one of them.
So now Fabian's got all that patched up and now he's putting the engine back together. We can finally get into the tuning side of things and put this bad boy back onto the dyno. I've had this car since stage one. So it first come to me We did a stage 1, he went away, did downpipes, few of the bits. Stage 2, it was a pretty decent car, he liked it, and then we obviously now we're at the point where we're at stage 3. So he's put some untested G25 550 converted turbos on. It's got a high pressure fuel pump upgrade, bigger charge cooler. So pretty much everything we're gonna need to be able to get some good numbers out of this car. So live tuning is, I think it's very different to what people think. So I'd like to get that across and like show that kind of process. So that'd be quite cool. And I'm just about to show you the tools. So if you want to get into this video, sit down, let's go. So the tools I'm going to be using are quite simple. I'll be using B-Flash because what I need to do with that is flash on a patched version of the software. So then I'm enabling this lead. So this lead is called a Tactrix cable. It's just a pass-through device. It doesn't have to be a Tactrix, but anything that it supports the whole pass-through system. So this I originally got for Subaru's Evos and things like that using ECU Edit. But in this case, I'm going to be using it using a software called Vehicle. So that software, I've covered it on the logger video, but this will enable me to work with that car, with that lead only. So that lead will log it, and any changes I make in Winnows, it will push them straight to the car. So that is what we call live tuning. I'm not going to turn the engine off. I'm literally going to tune it with the engine running, just making changes, and away I go. This enables that by flashing the patch. This then links to that patch, enables me to write to it and everything else I need to do to be able to log it and all that kind of stuff. That's what this does. And then when I'm finished with that, I then have to flip back to that to flash that final file on. So it's kind of a multiple between the two. And then obviously we're going to be using VCDS now and again just to make sure that everything's, you know, okay with codes and things like that. But apart from that, it's going to be all this bit of kit. So let's get to it. Rightio, so we're all set up, ready to go. This car, we're going to be doing a little bit different in the fact that we're actually live tuning it. So this is actual physical live tuning, not just the piss you see on Facebook and stuff where people call it live tuning just because it's on the dyno. So any change I make in here goes directly to the ECU. So that's all done through the vehicle logger. So we can log, flash it, and do everything else all at the same time. So we're on an Audi RS5. This has got quite big turbos on, but I've gone through the spec already and you kind of know where we are. We've done a run already and we are at 367 brake at 40% duty on the actual wastegate. So, and they were running wastegate duty pressure, so 0.7 bar. So I was going to I'll give it another bump up to 50%. I just want to make sure that we are actually going to make more power when it changes, because sometimes if the wastegate's not set up, then you have to go back and do that. So we'll give it another run and then we'll crack on and see what we can make out of this car. I've got my maximum boost set to, I think it's about 1.9 bar because we're on stock map sensor still. So that's going to be our limitation, unless it's the engine, depending on which way you look at it. So we're all set up again. Let's give it a run. Live tuning is a lot faster. We don't have to wait for the flash times. I'm plugged into the car and that's it. We're away. So let's get this set up. Traction off. Go. Run 2. woke up that time. So currently at 458 brake. Just make sure I am set up. Just gonna get another run like that. So I'm looking at. We go again. .5 bar max. Random's good. Intake air temp's good. Rails good. Fuel still good. 460 brake, 677.8 Newton meters. Not bad. Let's have a look at the max values here before I look at the logs. So duty cycle actuator is working 50%. The boosters come in and then taper off, but that graph actually looks quite nice. I'm still nowhere near where I kind of want to be with the boost. I'm still a bit behind, so I'm going to bump that wastegate up a little bit more just to get it closer before we do the fine tuning. I'll probably raise it to about, I'll go above probably 1.9 bar. Depending on where these turbos wake up. You always find that bigger turbos always take more boost to wake up on these engines. So 1.5 bar. So if I go back to that, it should just work out to 1 byte to begin with. We'll go 60%. Let's see what that does. That should take us over 5. And then we'll see what the boost is doing. Just gives me a picture of what these turbos are doing, because I've not done these turbos before, so not quite sure what they're going to be like, where I'm going to have to sit it and everything else. So let's go again. That's the beauty of this. It's literally, I can just run and run and run, which keeps that heat in the turbos, but the only time we really need the live tuning. So 50% duty. Repeat. Load. And we go again. Turn the car off, don't have to run anything like that. Just run the logger, run the car. So, looking for that one. Got a cap. 525. That's 760 Newton meters. So we are capped on that 1 to 2559. That just sat there. But it looked like the raw was carrying on. So we got 2.9, 1.9 bar, and 1.9 bar. Just like a limit. Desired 1.9, we're doing 1.9, and we've got 525 brake. I'd say it's loads on this though. Not if we want to get anywhere near the 7th. We've got more boost. The issue is he's on the stock map sensors, so we've only got what we can do with that, and then he's going to have to change those and then see what more boost is going to be like. We're pretty much at the limit boost wise. Give ourselves a bit of headroom. Let's have a look at the actual log. Throttle clutch, manufacturer, pressure set. Raw, just clips 1.920, tapers down to 265. So doing 1.6 bar at red line. So probably make more power that way. Controller, not too bad. So duty cycle 60% at the top end. Comes in a bit slower, so we could probably do something about that.
Natural fuel pressure. Got a bit of knock. As it comes in, not loads. 6.7's not great. Trying to paint a picture of what we can do with the car. 6.75, 5.25, 6. So we're getting a bit of noise on the cylinders, but only low down. So we'll have to do a bit with the timing there. Make a bit more up top. The PID stuff. PID. Data controller, PID. Okay. Not really a lot I can do at this stage. I could do leaning out a bit.
Do I raise it a little bit? Let the wastegate take care of the in.
See what it does. Probably the best thing to do. Kind of like just let it come up a bit. I'll go 70. Just want to see if the car can control it on the way in a little bit better. If not, then I need to do quite a lot of fine tuning. Right, we'll jump up to 70 just to see. It might go above the map sensor, but yeah, okay. So that's no good now. I want the raw. Let's go. It's gone above the map sensor. Making decent power though. So above 2 bar, we're over 400 wheel. It's way too far over that map sensor. So the power's there. I mean that's going straight for the 6, I'd say. So I don't know how it's going to taper over. So I'm going to need a map sensor. And knock this down. So it's 65, 63. That's ball. I'll see what he wants to do. Five, 3, 2, 7, 7, 4. Seems to be the sweet spot underneath those map sensors. 532.8, 774 newton meters. Still quite far off our target, but we'll see. Have a look at those logs. So things I need to do. I need to find that diagnostic limit, see if I can move that. So running 1.8 bar at top. Might bump the limit up a little bit. Is that 2 bar? No pressure seems okay. Injection time still good. 6.8, so still got plenty of fuel. 9.7. 10.5. It's dropped a little bit with a boost. I'm just adding more boost. It's dropped the timing a little bit. Don't work the tables for the timing on the way in. We'll rework them for the next turbo. Alright, stock. Right, so the stuff we've got to do, nearly swore then. Woo. One, we need to raise that maximum boost limit, which is just here. But I'll quickly run through how this ECU works and what we've got to do. So the ECU itself pretty much calculates everything from torque and load. So there's calculations between torque and then there's load worked out from the torque. So you've got all your boost pressures and everything else is pretty much based off load. So this is like a percent of load, 300%, which is about 2 bar, because you've got 100%, which is naturally aspirated. Anything above that is boost. So the actual load tables are all set up to about 2 bar. We're going to need more than that. And one of the limits we've actually got, which is just here, because you'll always find there's always like little bites and things like that that are gonna stop you from doing anything you don't want to do. So I'm just gonna bump that to, in fact, I might bump that up to 3.2, just to raise it up more than I'm ever gonna see. The next thing you've got when this ECU is kind of like the previous videos I've done, you've always got things like wastegate tables and things like that, but these ECUs don't have none of that. It's all like a pre-guessing system and then a PID system that kind of like calculates the two. So there's a lot of tables to set up when it comes to boost control and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm kind of doing at the minute is, because it's a new turbo setup and things like that, and I'm just trying to feel my way around the actual turbo setup to see what's kind of available. Now, you can sit there and you can set up all the tables, you can do all that kind of stuff, fine. Like, I'm going to have to do that anyway. But what I'm trying to piece together today is what is capable and what's going to hold us back. Because if something simple is going to hold us back, you're better off putting that part on, carrying on, and then moving on to the next. Now, I didn't kind of know, because this is a twin turbo setup and things like that, I didn't quite know what kind of boost we're going to be at to make the kind of power that we want. And we're already at like 1.9 bar. Just over. We just clipped 2 bar, and we're only running 532, which is fine. But and I'm noticing small increments of wastegate is equaling to quite a lot of power, and we're only running about 60% duty at the minute, or 63. So we've still got 37% duty to play with. So we've still got quite a lot of boost that we can use to make the kind of power that he wants. Now, the first hurdle we've hit now is obviously that map sensor. I pulled the timing out as well, because I've got to set up all those tables, because the difference between a stock turbo and a bigger turbo could be quite dramatic, the way it spools and things like that. So you can use timing to help spool, create that bit of power before the turbos kick in. And then as the turbos are tapering off, you're also using that extra timing to make the power up top. So there's quite a lot to do when it comes to setting one of these turbo setups up, especially if it's something you haven't done before. And MD1 is quite intense. There's quite a lot to go on in MD1. This is pretty much my stage 2 plus file, which I'm altering to suit this turbo setup. Now I'm going to have quite a lot to do, because there's all the compressor tables and everything else I've got to set up, because the turbos are different. Like, everything's set up for the stock turbo setup. When you change the turbos, a lot changes. And it's actually behaving quite well at the minute. Like, I'm actually be able to just raise that wastegate and the car pretty much soak it up and be okay with it, which is always good, and always like a quicker session. So we've kind of got to that point where we know we're going to need bigger map sensors straight away, and there's 2 on this car. So I'm going to go in and have a look which one we definitely need to change, because you don't always have to change them both. Like the most important one is normally intake manifold. We'll change that, and then we'll up that to a 4 bar, just to give the ECU better control and more scope when it comes to the actual pressures we're going to want to be running. Because I reckon we're going to be around about, for safe on this engine's about 7 to 750, I'd say. So we're at 532 at 2 bar. So the problem with these turbos is they do like to liven up after 2 bar. So like 2.1, 2.2 bar could get us somewhere near, depending on how much timing and or everything else we can get into it. So I'm just going to bump this up. I am going to give it another run. I've just bumped up to 3.2, so that's kind of got me there. I'm going to give it another run just to see and make sure everything's okay as is, just in case he wants to use it before we put the map sensors on. And then we're going to order 4 bar map sensors and go again. One good bit of news is Thomas has contacted us, and he will be dropping the RS6 off hopefully tomorrow. He's just waiting for some bearings on the rear, I think he said, and then we're good to go with that. So hopefully we can be doing an RS5 and an RS6 at the same time. So let's give it another run where she is. Everything should already be flashed in. Now the way this works, I didn't really go much into it, is basically I've read the ECU at the start, I patched it to be able to enable live tuning, so that we can tune it live, which is a lot faster. So every time I make a change in Winolls, Winolls is monitoring that file. So every time I make a change in this, it sends it straight into the ECU while the ECU is running. Now the only issue I've got is, obviously when I'm finished, I'm going to have to flash that tune in, because we're not running on the same chip. We're kind of running off a RAM chip. So you're pretty much restricted by the memory of that chip. And if I key off, key on, that's lost. I've got to flash it again, go again, and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot faster for this. enables me to kind of get through the tuning side a lot quicker than like, this would probably have took me just to do what we've done today. If I was flashing, logging, and then also warming the car up, it would probably take us a good few hours, whereas it's only took us like 2 hours just to get to where we are. So it does enable us for a lot better. And I can also do this on the road as well, so I can make changes without having to worry about like internet and all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't use the internet, it's all on one wire. I can log it and flash it at the same time. I can also go in here and enable the logger to say where we are and all that kind of stuff. So we've got a lot of options with this tool. So let's give it another run without raised and the timing out, just to see where we are. You might find that we actually run a bit more power, it might run a little bit less, you don't know. So give it a run, get that 4-bar map sensor ordered, or both, depending on what it wants to do, and then we go again. So there we go, make sure that logger's on. This is what we call a RAM variable logger as well, so you get more detail than what you would with a normal logger, a lot more, and it's faster. I'm logging quite a lot of things all at the same time, just to make sure that everything's okay. 5th gear, here we go. Watching that one. Still there, so there's another limit, that's okay. So there's a bit of work here, maybe on the timing, just to bring that in a bit better. Gearbox I've already flashed, by the way, because this is a stage 2 car that I've done before, and I'm sitting like 1,000 Newton meters there, so I've got no limit of the gearbox at the minute, but you would have done if I hadn't have done that already. I think the stock limit doesn't need about 800 Newton meters, so 551. So I pulled that timing out, and I've actually made more power. I ain't gonna know. You had the bit where I had the fun with getting into gear, drop it down a little bit. There you go, 542. So what happened there was it didn't quite go into gear straight away, so it left it lingering. So let's let the car sort that out. So at 550, 776 at, what was we at? 1.9 bar, just over 2 bar. Do need to find more limits. It's still saying 2899, but that's okay. I want to see if I can bump this diagnostics limit up as well whilst we're tuning this car. Got a bit of work to do. So I'll work with the efficiency a bit. Got a bit of work to do, but I get that 4-bar map sensor order first. So that was the first video of the RS5 series. It might take a few. We've got some road tuning to do with this car to make sure that those turbos are working good. And we've also got a fair bit of dyno tuning and work to do to get that power level. So I hope you enjoyed this little video. Hopefully I can get on the RS6 shortly. And please like, subscribe and all that jazz. Share it, do it, whatever you want to do. And I'll see you in the next one. Boom! I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Here's some more footage of us taking the car out for a spin, and we'll see you in the next one, which hopefully will be the RS6. That's like half roll.
Oh.